All right, welcome to the Lima County Commission meeting, Town Board of Battle Mountain and Austin Board of County Highway Commissions for November 18th, 2021. All right, so Brian, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll have a moment of silence. We're going to go ahead and move forward. The Lander County Commissioners may break for lunch from 12 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. Any agenda item may be taken out of order, may be combined for consideration by the public body. Any items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. Commission reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended. JR, we're going to start with you first.
Oh.
Throw you off.
I went to the water board? No, the other one.
The Central? Is it the Central?
No, it wasn't the water board. It was the planning committee in here. What they call that?
Planning board?
Yeah.
Okay, the planning board meeting?
Right, and they had a discussion on the wild horses south of town here where they've got too many of them. And BLM was there and they gave us a spiel on it, that they gotta go through Washington DC before they can get a permit to gather the horses. So it takes a lot of bureaucracy to get it all done.
So it's a PLUAC meeting?
Yeah.
PLUAC?
PLUAC, yeah, okay. And then, so it's not gonna happen in the near future, but the way the biologist was talking about it, if they don't do something before too long, there'll be more colts born than the allotment of the animals that's on the range now. So they're gonna have to do something pretty quick.
Did all parties agree that horses are an issue?
Yeah. I'll let Patsy do the water board one.
Yeah. No.
No.
All right. I attended a hospital board meeting. It was just standard stuff, nothing out of the ordinary on that to really report on. So, Patsy?
Thank you. Yes, JR and Lou Lanny and I attended the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority meeting that was held in Fallon on the 12th, and there are a couple things that I did want to share with you. One was a presentation on open enviotranspiration, and I'll explain that in just a minute. It was given by Dr. Justin Huntington. He is a research professor of hydrology at the Desert Research Institute. And they have been working on this actually since 1984. It's the first that I've heard about it, or that's been brought up at some of our meetings. But we used to do all our information on our land and agriculture visual. So the hydrologist would go out and look, and they'd say, oh, look at that plant is healthy. Oh, look at this one. You can't use any of your grazing rights in that area because this plant is so bad, and blah, blah, blah. Well, the new one that he's talking about now is all imaging by satellite. And like I said, they've been doing it for some time, but not to the extent of what they're trying to do now. So we have to rely on new innovative ideas and ways to solve our water resource management problem. And this is what it's doing. It's all on satellite. The satellite goes around every 8 to 16 days. And the imaging comes down and puts all the plants in this, well, if you've looked at anything that's on an X-ray, infrared or something like that, it'll show the healthy plant, and then it'll show one that needs help, and then it'll show the bad one that's dead. And it's amazing, so you don't have to rely on, oh, look, this is dying. You can say, wow, just do it by all this imaging. It was absolutely fascinating. And he reported that the House and Senate bills, which they're working on right now, is to give extra money to help with that and to also take care of our plants and such. He said they started in Diamond Valley a couple years ago, because we all know Diamond Valley has been hit really hard with all the drought and everything in Eureka. And he said they've been working on that for about 2 years. So they're excited about Congress getting on board and doing this. And it's certainly the most innovative management plan that they have come up with on that. And I thought that was really interesting, that the plants can reflect that back so quickly. The other one that I wanted to report on was a presentation given by the 3PL Lithium Development Project in Railroad Valley. And this was given by one of the hydrologic consultants and the CEO of the 3PL Lithium Project. And they have about 55,000 square miles that they have discovered with the lithium. And the brine that they actually use, they don't even use fresh water, they use the brine, which it comes up, and they said it's one of the largest of 10 in the world. The problem is that NASA has contacted BLM, and they've filed some I don't want to say, well, let me see how I can put this. They have filed to actually take 23,000 acres out of this 55,000 to give to NASA. And NASA says they need it because that's where some of their satellites cross over in that area. The experts and hydrologists are saying, you don't need 23,000 acres. You only need about 5 for your satellites to combine. And the lithium project can work with 5,000 acres out of there, but he said if we take 23,000 out of the middle, I mean that's really a big deal. So Nye County is on top of that, and they're trying to argue with NASA, and it appears that NASA doesn't have to use that particular site to use their satellites. There's about 5 other areas that would work just as well. So we don't know what's coming, but I thought that was kind of interesting, since lithium is so important right now in our future and what's going on. So that was really kind of cool. And the other thing I wanted to give a report on was, I think you're all familiar with the new Division of Water Resources proposed regulations. They haven't been adopted yet, but our chief water engineer, of course, in Carson City has been working on it for some time. And when our group looked at this, there was a couple things that they really had a problem with. Number one, the one gentleman who spoke to us said they had 5 different protests against them on the lithium project, and you're supposed to answer those 5 complaints within 60 days. And he gave all kinds of reasons of what they're doing, what they're in the middle of, and why they'd ask for an extension. So they asked the Department of Water for an extension, and they said no. They didn't even give them any reason why, they just said no. So when our water board, looked at some of these regulations and said, there's really nothing in there to appeal if they just say no for whatever reason or no reason at all. So when they're doing regulations, we'd like to address that. And the other thing they wanted to address was part of the regulations that said, I'll read how it's written here. It says, if the state engineer determines that testimony offered by an expert witness is based on or provides technical or scientific data that is within a field in which the office of the state engineer already possesses expertise, then the state engineer may take administrative notice of such technical or scientific data while allowing the expert witness to provide their opinion regarding the validity, implications, and interpretation of such data. That's what we're hoping to get in. Right now, the way it's worded, the state engineer says, we've got experts in our field. I don't have to hear testimony from any of your experts. And he makes the determination of whether somebody has a degree in that or whatever. And the experts don't even get a chance to talk to the state water engineer. We're going, no. So this is the wording that we're trying to put in. So your Central Nevada Regional Water Authority is on top of a lot of different things going on, and I thought those were especially interesting that I wanted to share. We did have a water board, that's what I just finished, didn't I? We did have an advisory board meeting for the airport in Austin. We're working on the water on that too, and Donnie was down there for that, so we'll be looking at a lot of things at budget time for that. And just one information, the day after Thanksgiving is our hallmark moment with the lighting of our Christmas tree in Austin, if any of you can make that. That's at 5 o'clock on the Friday after Thanksgiving. And of course, last year we actually got heaters and the small little fire pits so we can make s'mores. And Ormat gave us the grant to do all of that. So we're all set for that if you can join us. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Betsy.
Thank you very much. Staff reports on meeting, conferences, and seminars.
Good morning, Commission. A couple quick things. I don't have much to report on, but I did sit through a weather modification group seminar. And one of the things that they do is they're based off of performance. I'm going to have them in front of you guys hopefully here in the next few months so we can make it for budget time, see if you guys would want to budget for something like that. But this group actually removes storm fronts or blockages per se of storm fronts that would be oceanic rain, and they bring it inland. They have put out fires, diverted storms. It's pretty crazy that you can modify weather the way that they claim that they can modify weather. With that, they are performance-based, so they don't charge you unless they meet what your goal of required precipitation is, or desired precipitation. They can bring it to you at all different stages throughout the year. It's not just during the winter or spring or fall. They can bring it at different times to meet that, to kind of optimize crop growth and minimize fire. The other thing that I wanted to comment on is that we won't be getting a cloud seeder here in Lander County this year. They're going to work on, I spoke with Jeff Fontaine, they're going to work on trying to get one for us this next year. And if we continue donating to that cloud seeding program, hopefully they can get something here within Lander County. When I spoke to this weather group about that, they said that makes no difference to them because they're bringing weather fronts that have blockages out there in the ocean inland, and how they get it over all the mountains and all that is beyond me, but that's for them to explain to.
What's the
to
cost
guys.
of doing something like that?
They're talking, it depends on how much moisture you would like and how many storm fronts they have to move, but for 3 to 5 inches of rain is what they were saying during this presentation is roughly $1 million.
That's incredible that you can manipulate weather like that.
Yeah, it's and like I say, they're even talking about doing stuff for NASA where they lighten the atmosphere so the rockets use less fuel to reach space. So they've done work for the federal government, for NASA, for a bunch of people. They seem to be fairly well credited. Hopefully they come before you guys and can speak on that. Then I did SHPO for the final documentation of title for land transfer from out here with Pershing County. It's in the final stages. Now we're just waiting on signatures. And I think I updated you guys on this, a month and a half ago or something, and it's still just a slow trickling process. I wanted you guys to know that it's still moving forward. And then that is pretty much all I have to comment on. I do know that I'm going to bring you guys my goals. You guys had asked me during my evaluation to bring you guys my goals and my, what we want to accomplish. obviously I work at your guys' discretion, so whichever direction you guys send me, I will happily go. But I would like to, update our 5-year plans, for infrastructure. Them are about expired now since I was back in that position, so I think that a lot of this falls on me and Donnie working well together and moving forward. With that, expect me to bring you guys what my goals are, and then for some redirection from you guys on where and how we'd like to accomplish any goals that you guys may have in mind. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Bert.
All right, for public comment, for non-agendized items only, persons are invited to submit comments in writing and/or attend to make comments on any non-agendized items at the board meeting, if any, and discretion of those comments at the discretion of the board. All public comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person, again, at the discretion of the board. Reasonable restrictions may be placed on public comment based upon time, place, and manner, but public comment based upon viewpoint may not be restricted. Do we have any public comment?
This is Austin.
Hello?
I'm muted.
Yeah,
Unmuted.
this is Cynthia Mistretti, Carolyn Mistretti from Austin.
Okay.
And we did not, unfortunately, make it onto the agenda, but we will do that this next month. In regard to checking with the commissioners regarding establishing a feral cat program for Lander County, Southern Lander County, we understand at this time that there is not one in place, and many of in Austin are interested in participating and seeing the county in regards to rounding up feral cats and taking them and getting them spayed or neutered. Right now at the time, we've done Carolyn and I have done research, and Darla also, in regards to the only program available is the one for personal cats, people who cannot afford spaying or neutering their cats, that a voucher is given out by the sheriff's office of $50 or $75. So we will have more information in regards to this for the commissioners and our requests and our research that would come up with for the next board meeting.
All right, thank you. Did everybody hear what that was about? It was about feral cats.
About feral cats.
Feral cats in Austin. So they'll try to get onto the next agenda with information. So, hello. Yes. All right, go ahead.
Hi, Amy Race with Nevada Gold Mines. I also did not make it onto the agenda and would appreciate to know how to get on the agenda. But what I want to do, I'm the Water Resources Manager for Nevada Gold Mines, and I want to provide Lander County an update on some applications that we'll be filing around the Cortez District. I have handouts. Am I allowed to share those? Or should I wait to get on the
Can you do everything in 3 minutes?
I will do my darndest. I mean, I have a couple slides that really help visualize what I'm going to...
We can't do that. You want to wait and do that. Try get contacted with these guys.
I can give handouts? Sure. Okay. May I approach that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll keep talking so I
Okay,
just
go
make
ahead.
3 minutes. Okay, so in these handouts, you'll see there are diagrams showing arrows of where we're proposing to move water. And this is for our underground, it's called Pickup Project. And so this is all in compliance with the water pollution control permit. And in it, it says that we have to take any water that comes in contact with our activities. They have to be treated and contained. And so we have contact water at the underground that the only place we can take it is back to Crescent Valley. The water is sourced in Pine Valley, but has to go back to Crescent Valley. So from a hydrographic basin standpoint, it's an interbasin transfer. So what we're proposing to do is we'll take the water from Pine Valley to Crescent Valley to contain it and treat it. But then we're gonna offset and take Crescent Valley water back to Pine Valley. So it'll be a net neutral interbasin transfer. The reason I'm telling you this is it also goes across county lines. And so you guys will be notified by the state engineer's office of these applications. But the whole goal is just to make sure we're containing this water, making sure it's not getting into the environment, and that it's net neutral. So We have been operating under temporary permits for the past couple months. The process is working very well, and so we wanna make these permanent applications, and so I'm just letting you know that you'll be seeing these public notices come out, and the state engineer's office will be in contact with you, but it's net neutral. We're not taking excess water from Lander County. It's a equal
What you're
trade.
taking, you're putting right back.
Correct.
Well, they are taking it. They are taking it.
Yeah, well, so we're taking it from Pine Valley
Right.
to Crescent, yes.
Or the same basin,
Well,
the same water basin?
The question-
No.
How long before it comes back, and how does it come back?
It'll be in real time. There's pipelines going both ways.
Okay, so, and it goes back into the aquifer? or what?
Yep, so through rapid infiltration basins.
Okay, that's question one.
Okay,
Yep, it'll be near real time.
okay.
So then there's another application. We have a water right that allows us to take fresh water from Grass Valley into Pine Valley, same project. But the well is underproducing, and we've got great dewatering wells in Crescent Valley. So there's another application that would propose to take Crescent Valley water to Pine Valley in the underground, use it, and it becomes contact water, so then we have to treat it again with the same process, and then we'll take it back to Crescent Valley. So it'll go in, come right back out, equivalent volumes. So that's the third application that we'll be filing for. Again, crosses that county boundary, so you guys will be notified of it. I can plan to come to the next county commissioners meeting if you guys would like to discuss it further, and I can also provide you my personal contact information if you have more questions.
If you ever want to get on the agenda,
You go to the administrative office and there's a form.
I believe we've gotten it to you since then. I just spoke with Caitlin. You came in, I believe, on Monday, and by the,
Did we email back and forth on Monday? No?
So it's called an agenda request form.
Okay.
You just fill it out, you turn it in. And then when there's an agenda meeting, they decide what goes on the agenda and they get all the agenda request form and go through those. That's the procedure.
Okay, so I can plan to come back if you guys wanna review this more.
And I think she's gonna grab you an agenda request.
I appreciate it, thank you.
I don't know, we only have one meeting.
But yeah, we haven't figured out exactly when we're filing these. We want to engage with everyone before we do anything and try to address any concerns before we do that. I've already engaged with Pershing County, Humboldt River Basin Water Authority, and Eureka County on this. Thank you.
so just so you're aware, typically we have 2 meetings a month.
Okay,
However, this next month, we only have 1 due to the holidays,
okay,
unless we have an emergency meeting somewhere in that process, but, you know, I just want you to know for time frame.
sure,
So the 16th of this coming month would be our next meeting.
okay,
That would be the meeting you could probably get on.
okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Any further public comment? All right. Moving on to consent agenda, all items under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Board of Commissioners with one action without extensive discussion. Any member of the board or citizens may request that an item be taken out of the consent agenda, discussed and acted upon separately during this meeting. Consent agenda materials are available at the Lander County Clerk's Office for viewing, and copies are available for a nominal charge. 1, approval of November 18th, 2021 amended agenda notice. Number 2, approval of July 22nd, 2021 meeting minutes. Number 3, approval of August 26th, 2021 meeting minutes. Number 4, approval of September 9th, 2021 meeting minutes. Number 5, approval of September 23rd, 2021 meeting minutes. Number 6, approval of October 14th, 2021 meeting minutes. Number 7, approval of October 28th, 2021 meeting minutes. And number 8, approval of payroll change requests.
I'll make a motion, we approve items 1, 3, and 4.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right,
It was
Brian,
1, 3, and 4.
1, 3, and 4. All right, Brian made the motion, and JR second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, very good. Moving forward, to number 1, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove payments of bills. We're going to pull out check number 213676 and 213739. 2.S. So a aside from those, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the balance of the bills minus 213676 and 213739.
I'll second.
So Patsy made the motion, Brian second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I make a motion, we now approve check number 213676 and 213739.
All right, I'll second.
I'll second it.
Okay. So Kathy made or Patsy made the motion, Kathy second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I abstain, they're made to my employer.
All right. Moving forward, for the number 2, Public Works Department, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the bid PWP number LA 2022-044 from Honeywell Construction for the paving of Yellow Brick Road in the amount not to exceed $446,457. All right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
So when do you foresee this being completed? This year?
Well, it might be next year, depending on the weather now. We was hoping to get it done before the end of this month, but the weather's getting cold, so unless we get some warm days and they get some free time.
Any questions? I'll make a motion then. I'll make a motion to approve bid PWP number LA 2022-044 from Honeywell Construction for the paving of Yellow Brick Road in the amount not to exceed $446,457.
All right, second.
I'll second it.
All right, Brian made the motion. JR, sorry, I always want to put your initials the other way. Second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, JR.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if we do have nice weather, is it possible to get it done? Yeah,
It is possible, so.
that'd be good.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, moving forward, for number 4, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the easement options on Lima County property for Nevada Energy.
What about number 3?
Oh.
Number 3 is the parade of lights.
Love of Jesus, sorry. For discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the annual parade of lights. Sorry, guys.
December 4th. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Could I say your name?
Latoya Martinez with the Battle Mountain Chamber.
So the one that we have in front of us, Latoya, is not signed and checked off by the other agencies. Have those been done yet?
No.
No. We're first?
Yes.
Okay, because usually we're last, so
She's new, so.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
I'm just saying,
Our approval would be contingent upon everybody else approving it, so.
yeah,
Okay.
And the motion should reflect that.
yeah, we,
Okay, so who does she need to get to sign off? Because I've never done these before either.
Say you got it.
Okay. Where does she just go down to the state yard, or does she have to send it in?
Permit.
She
So
did,
we approved the permit,
okay,
so that's why they're usually done first, and that's why
Okay.
the agenda says permit.
I think that has to be signed off by the Nevada Department of Highway Patrol.
Highway Patrol and the
Nevada
sheriff,
County
yeah.
Sheriff's Office, and a lot of them have the fire department on it also.
okay, awesome, thanks, Ron.
Yeah, according to the documents I see, or just what Ron stated, Sheriff's Department, Highway Patrol, Fire Department, and then the permit would be gotten and presented to us and then we would approve it.
So we're not gonna have another meeting before, if she gets that done,
So
so,
they can make a motion to
Okay.
approve it.
Contingent upon.
On you getting authorization
Okay.
from those two.
and then does she just need to bring that into Bert, or?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I'll propose what Ted said.
And Ron's right there, she's
So-
gonna sign off.
I'll second the motion.
So, JR made the motion, Brian second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks
have
for
a
the
nice one.
education.
So, for this, Number 4, for discussion of possible action to approve, disapprove the easement options on Lander County property for Nevada Energy.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Brock Nelson, I'm with Maverick. So I just stopped by the store today just to grab a visual. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not.
We have well, this is an actual real time?
It's
Or
just
kind of
a
a-
sketch of where this easement would be proposed, and it's what Nevada Energy is currently working on.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that the reason they're asking for your guys' approval is because Nevada Energy doesn't wanna re-engineer this, 3 different times. They'd like to get an approval and then make their final engineering adjustments to fit that.
Correct.
So they're just taking a little corner there.
Brock, are they going underground in this?
Yes, it will be underground. So initially we've had NV Energy review this once before, and we kind of went through that process with them, which is a little bit lengthy. And then we've come back to this underground option. That way we don't have to involve as many landowners and so forth. So yes, this will go underground and then connect to the county property.
So most of the excavations are gonna be on Maverick property.
They will be,
There's just a small amount on Lander County property.
yeah.
I'm just asking that for education purposes for the county.
Yes, sir.
So they actually have, what, 3 different options?
3 different options.
Is that what it says? It says option 2, option 3?
At one time there was.
I mean,
Yeah.
have they decided on one yet?
So-
Or our motion needs to reflect options?
Not that I'm aware of. I think right now we are with this underground option.
Right.
That's the one they're going
And
with?
this is the one that
Okay.
Nevada Energy is currently working on their design.
Okay,
And so that's what, this would be just a conditional approval or whatever based on the findings from NV Energy. That way, we know you guys would be okay with that so they can continue their design and review. So,
got it.
This has been an ongoing process. The hospital is part of it,
yeah,
and they had problems. It was problematic going that route, so that's why they wanna get pre-approval, because they've had to re-engineer this at least twice.
yeah, we had one where it was the hospital and the county, and then we had another option there where there was 2 other property owners, the hospital and the county. And it was just, we just kept running into problems, you know?
Okay, I just wanted to clarify because according to our information, it says we're going to approve easement options. And I didn't know if that's what we were actually doing is okaying for all 3, or if you've made a decision and, you wanted the motion that just we approve the underground.
Yes.
That's all?
That would be perfect.
Correct.
Okay, well then I'll make a motion that we approve the easement option of underground for Nevada Energy on the Lander County property for Nevada Energy, yeah.
All right, second.
I'll second.
So Patsy made the motion, Brian second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate you.
All right. For discussion and possible action, we're on number 5, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove resolution 2021-17, and then to direct the Lander County Assessor to publish the 2022/2023 tax roll prior to January of 2022, January 1st of 2022.
Was Lyra going to be here? I only had one question, and I thought, over the last few years that they gave us some other options that we could do, like on our website and things like that, rather than publish in the newspaper.
Why don't you go to number 6, and I'll go get Laura.
There she's
Oh,
at.
here she is.
Hi,
Morning,
Laura.
Hi.
How are you?
I was just asking if we had any other options, rather than publishing in the newspaper, or anything we can put on our website. We probably do that anyway, but,
That's what it says. we publish the notice in the paper that it's available on the website.
Oh, and not
Yeah.
all the names?
No, this
Okay.
is just, yeah, that changed a long time ago. Yeah, we just publish,
The notice
the
of where they
notice.
can go?
Mhm.
Okay, got it.
yeah. Yep, that's all we do.
All right, so we have a motion.
Do we need to read it into the record?
Yeah, it needs to be
I
ready.
make a,
Patsy, excuse me,
Yes.
if you look on the resolution itself, in the last paragraph, it says, to publish a notice in the newspaper that it's available. And then we do put it on the website, yes,
It is on our website too.
always, every year,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
sorry.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 2021-17, a resolution directing the county assessor to prepare and publish a list of all taxpayers on the secured tax roll in the county and the total valuation of property on which they will severally pay taxes pursuant to Nevada Revised Statute 361-or.300. Whereas Nevada Revised Statute requires Lander County Assessor to be directed by a resolution of the Lander County Board of Commissioners to prepare and publish the secured tax roll annually. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lander County Board of Commissioners does hereby direct the Lander County Assessor to prepare and publish a list of all taxpayers on the 2022-2023 secured tax roll in the county and the total valuation of property on which they will severally pay taxes pursuant to NRS 361.300. Be it further resolved that the Lander County Board of Commissioners does hereby direct the Lander County Assessor to cause such list and valuation to be published on or before January 1st of the fiscal year in which assessments are made, to publish a notice in a newspaper of general circulation that such list is completed and open for inspection by interested persons of the county, to publish the list of valuation at a public area of each public library or branch library within the county, and to publish the list of valuations on the county website. Passed and adopted this 18th day of November 2021, and authorize the chair to sign.
So doesn't it say we're publishing in the newspaper?
No, the notice,
It says notice.
the notice.
just
Yeah,
the notice.
notice in a newspaper.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brian made the motion, JR second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
So, number 6, for discussion of possible action to approve, disapprove the Lander County Emergency Operation Plan Letter of Promulgation.
Good morning.
Morning, Michelle.
So I'm Michelle Young. I am your current chairperson for LEPSI, which is your Local Emergency Planning Commission. I have agenda items number 6 and number 7. Number 6 is the letter of promulgation. The State Emergency Response Commission requests that this be approved by the commissioners every year for the packet that I have to submit to them by the end of January with this long list of documents and things required by them. So I'm just here, you guys should have a copy of this. I'm just here to ask for your approval for it. Once I have that, then I will date my copy, I have the original. I will date my copy and put it in the packet for us to send to them as soon as I have everything else ready.
Okay, so could we just open 7 with this one, or could we have to? Yeah, so we'll just open 7 along with that, so we can take care of both of them.
Okay, so number 7 is,
Now, let me read it in. Okay,
Okay.
so hang on a sec. For discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the Emergency Planning and Community Rights to Know Act, EPCRA, public notice, and to approve the cost of publication by newspaper in the amount not to exceed $100. Okay.
so this document is also required by CERC in that report by the end of January. So this needs to be submitted to the Battle Mountain Bugle to be published for 3 weeks in a row. And then I will need the receipt for that and the piece that they published in the newspaper with the dates on it to submit to CERC with the rest of this report. Last year, because I was a new chairperson, I wasn't sure how that worked, so I worked with Bert. I submitted it to the newspaper and his office paid for it. So not knowing how that's going to work, I don't know if I'm responsible to the sheriff's office as the chair for LEPC, if I'm responsible to Bert and the county as the chair for LEPC, and where those funds come from, because currently we don't have grant funds or a budget or anything. So this doesn't have to be approved by you guys, I just need to know, who's going to pay for it. And whether I'm gonna submit it and instruct the Bugle to invoice the sheriff's office or the county, or whether the county's gonna do it, or the sheriff's office is gonna do it. I just need your direction on how you want me to proceed with that.
How's it done
It was done in the
historically?
past, it came out of the sheriff's office, until they started getting grants, they were able to get
Oh.
grants, the sheriff's office paid for it out of their funds, and so.
But that was only a one or two time deal, then they got the CERT grant.
I know, but until they have money, then your office was the one who paid for it, because I was the one who did it. I know that.
That's
And
hard
that
to
was
argue with.
Actually,
There's no argument.
it was a couple of years that you actually paid for it, because it took them a little while to get all their wagons circled and figured out, so the sheriff's office is the one who's been responsible for it until they can get some money again.
So LEPC doesn't have any budget at all, don't we have a safety budget somewhere?
That was what I was just gonna comment. We do have the safety budget under the county manager, and I'm not sure if that's changed since the last couple of years, cause I don't believe we had a county manager at that time, so we didn't have a safety budget per se for that. I have no problem paying for it out of the safety budget. I'd appreciate it if they submitted it, so that all the documentation stays with them. Because ultimately they knock on their door first. And then if we can get copies of all that after signed to the clerk as well for their record, would be
So
great.
you want this notice that I send to the Bugle? Cause I just emailed them this, and then they reprinted in the little format in the column thing.
Yep.
And then I just, asked the Bugle to submit it to Caitlin's office for payment, like I did last year.
Yep.
Okay.
No sweat. And then, but like I say, after the signatures, if we can get the clerk's office to get a copy of all that.
You
would be
want,
great.
so historically, Lefsey's had a problem with this particular report. It's like this thick with all of this stuff in it that I had to figure out how to do it last year, and I wasn't really good at it, so it took me a really long time. So this year, I've made arrangements with the clerk's office that when I get that packet put together, I'm going to give them that entire packet.
Oh, perfect.
Because they scan it into their historical records, so everything that Lepsey's doing now gets put on record with the clerk's office with the county. So if anything happens to me and it's somebody else that's new and doesn't know what they're doing, they can go to the clerk's office and at least there will be agendas, minutes, and that packet for however many years I'm doing this. So it will help the person following me. I didn't bring that to you guys because I didn't think I needed to. I just made the deal with county.
It's perfect. We appreciate it.
Okay, so am I good?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
So we're sure that price is correct, it's 3 times?
Huh? Well, yeah, I know, that's what I was gonna say. We still have to make a motion to pay for
So
it, so.
last year, I think it was $89.
Okay, cause I have a problem saying not to exceed, and what if it comes to 120? I mean, you
Well,
know.
so now that I have your approval to do this and do whatever, hopefully by early next week, I can get a hold of the Bugle if I can't reach them today or
No,
tomorrow.
I'm debating on how we're gonna do our motion today.
Oh.
That's all.
They put down $95, we put down not to exceed 100. So we gave them $5.
Well, the price of everything has gone up so high, I just hate to restrict that and
We have a safety budget. If you guys don't wanna put
I was
a
gonna s-
dollar amount per se, you could just,
Just say 3 times. Yeah.
Yes, that's fine, so,
To pay for the advertising.
yeah, to pay for the
I
advertising.
think it's smarter, yeah.
Okay, so, wanna make a motion?
I will make a motion that we approve the emergency planning and community, LEPC, the authorization to do the public notice for EPCRA, which is Emergency Planning and Community Right to Know, and have that published in the Bugle 3 times.
And then the promulgation letter. It's gotta be,
And it will come out of the safety budget.
like where we're also approving their promulgation letter.
Oh, yes, right, I'm sorry. And we'll approve the accessibility of the Sarah Title III Hazardous Substance Information Public Notice.
All right, so is that a second?
And
Wait,
A letter of promulgation.
you have to
Yeah.
approve the operation.
We're approving 6 and 7.
Yeah, that's, I thought that's what she was.
No.
And approve the authorization letter, okay.
Okay, all right. So
Thought
now
that's
I'm
what it
sorry.
was,
So,
okay.
Then can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All right, so Patsy made the motion, JR second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good, thank you.
Good, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Michelle.
Okay, update only on Lander County Library.
Yeah, we should have Liz do this update. It is on me. So currently, we have both libraries open. They're 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, from 11 to 5 is what their hours are. We have some oversight that we need to get put in place to make sure that we're meeting all of our required hours currently with our employees. But we do have them, credit card for the one here in Battle Mountain. They're purchasing books and trying to start getting everything streamlined so we're actually a full operational library. It'll be coming back before you guys to start appointing board members once we have some of these other steps in place. And that's when we do the 1 year appointment, the 2 year appointment, the 3 year appointment for the board members of the library board. We aren't quite to that yet.
So we have hired somebody in Battle Mountain and Austin?
Correct. Yep. We have employees in both places. They're part-time employees, so they aren't receiving benefits.
How many in Battle Mountain?
Just one, and one in Austin as well. So that opens us for 3 days a week, quite a few more hours than we were in the past.
So can we do it with one? I mean, do we have a relief one or something?
Well, we have a relief here in Battle Mountain. We do not in Austin. We had a lot of trouble even getting applications in Austin.
No, I'm
That's been
really
the
concerned
difficult-
with the Battle Mountain one.
Yes, no, we do have relief there with Rita and other staff that's over there in the Civic Center to open. So that is maintained, but Austin's a little bit more difficult because we just don't have the people. If anybody knows of anybody in Austin that wants to do janitorial work or assist with libraries, please have them reach out.
Or DMV.
Yes, that one I don't have much to do with, but the other two for sure.
All right, thank you. All right, so for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the removal of Summit Engineering as Lander County engineer of record.
Was there any correspondence, or did we hear from Summit at all after our last meeting?
No, and so this isn't per se for that. This is, so Summit Engineering years
Oh,
ago
just
were,
matter of record, right?
yes, just a matter of record for the county.
And to update, the county did send the letter, 30-day letter to end our relationship, a formal letter.
Okay.
And we did add, in the letter, we asked for
Our
the
documents back.
We asked.
That's all you can do.
I'll make a motion that we approve the removal of Summit Engineering as the Lander County engineer of record.
All right, second.
I'll second it.
All right, Brian made the motion, JR second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, is it the district attorney's office then that sends the letter, or our county manager saying they're no longer our engineer of record?
It could be either. I personally prefer it coming from the district attorney's office, but it could be either of us.
Yeah, we both sent that already.
No, it was just a question of who's going to do it, that's all.
Well, we'll get it done. And
Okay.
The question is, whose signature do you want on it? I would suggest having, I'll do it up and I'll put it for Rotolo's signature. How's that?
That's fine.
Works for me.
Thank you.
That's the easy part of the job. I'll take it.
Because this is like just a formal.
Formal,
you know,
yes.
We release you from this. It's not a contract really.
Okay. All right, so moving forward for number 10, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove, appointing A&M Engineering as the Lander County engineer of record.
Ms. Kathy, did you guys vote on that last item? I got the motion,
Yeah,
but I didn't.
Brian.
Okay,
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Yeah,
you did?
Brian made the
Okay.
motion
My
there.
question was after we voted.
okay, sorry.
Thank you.
So I reached out to AM Engineering and asked if they would be interested, and the reason I did that is because they've been involved in a majority of our projects. Aaron's done a great job for us on a lot of them, and in my mind it was,
Reduced
And they've done us a great job, them and Day Engineering alike. But I wanted AM Engineering because we have some bigger plans moving forward with some of our, like say the 5-year master plan and possibly putting our roads and things of that nature in it. And I would like to be able to kind of piecemeal that together with an engineer of record where we have Cape Seals and paving projects and all these other projects kind of falling in line and in an order as opposed to just cherry picked. And not so much just based off of complaints, but based off of road surfaces, water line conditions, things of that nature. So that's why we're here.
Good morning, Commissioners. Aaron Martinez, AM Engineering for the record. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak in front of you today. Honestly, to say it's an opportunity is an absolute understatement. In my profession, to have the chance to be a municipal engineer working for a municipal government is an honor and an absolute privilege. There's so much in the engineer's hands that frankly translates to the administration, the staff, and ultimately the leaders of the community, to where if an engineer fails, ultimately we all can fail. And I think that in the past we've seen how important engineering can be in terms of affecting the actual livelihood of our constituents that we all serve. So with that said, I'd like to take this privilege to speak to you today about who I am and who my firm is. I don't really like talking about myself, so I have to hit myself on the head a little bit here to kind of divulge into some of the accomplishments that I've been able to achieve, and hopefully gaining your respect and ultimately your approval to represent you and your constituents. I started AM Engineering 10 years ago. I obtained my professional license as one of the younger engineers that I know at the age of 22. I received it early because I had worked for an engineering firm since I was 18 years old. So again, I obtained my license at the age of 22. I started my engineering firm at the age of 27. In 2015, I was named by the American Society of Civil Engineers as one of the top 10 engineers in the nation, called the New Faces of Engineering. You can take a look at the American Society of Civil Engineers website to take a look at that. Pretty neat accomplishment in 2015. I've been doing engineering for 18 years. I have a Bachelor of Science in Engineering from the University of Nevada, Reno. I have a Bachelor of Science in Land Surveying. I have a Bachelor of Science in Geomatics, and I have Associates in Mathematics. I'm an Elko High School graduate.
No.
Like I said, I'm a professional engineer. I was on the board of directors for the American Society of Civil Engineers in Carson City from 2010 to 2012. I'm NAQTC certified and ACI certified. These are kind of some construction components to my field. I started a foundation called AM Cares Foundation. Last year we hosted a tree out here which we donated to your community. We also assisted in some other components in the community, and that foundation assists Elko County, Eureka County, Lander County, and we're really proud about that and our growth in that foundation, and I hope to spread that love to other communities as well. I was the chairman of the City of Elko Planning Commission for many years, and I stepped down and retired from that position, but it's definitely been a tip in my hat because I really learn a lot working in the intricacies of the governments and understanding planning, design, and ultimately construction implementation. I have a pretty vast background. My firm works across all of Nevada. I'm licensed in many states, almost all states in the country through reciprocity, and we're very fortunate to be here in northern Nevada. I offered you folks my company's code of ethics because I just think that that's so important. These are not just words, this is something that we live by. And I'm going to read a few excerpts out of there for you if you don't mind. It says, AM Engineering requires all licensed engineers and company professionals to not only pass a state-mandated ethical exam, but also to pass a certified background examination searching for back-paid child support verification and previous legal convictions, all of which can warrant denial of a professional license and employment and termination from my firm. Our firm is entrusted with a wide array of confidential information such as proprietary engineering and judicial matters. We proudly uphold these code of ethics. Some rules of practice. We hold paramount the safety and health and welfare of the public. We perform our services only in the areas in which we are competent. We only issue statements that are truthful and objective. We act for each employer as a faithful agent and trustee, and I think that's really important. We're out there representing you and your constituents and ultimately assisting you in making decisions that can affect everyone. We conduct ourselves honorably, responsibly, and ethically and lawfully so that we can enhance the honor and reputation and usefulness of the profession. And I don't know how else I can put it as good as that. A few items that I'll highlight here. Professionals at all times strive to serve the public's best interests. We will always avoid deceptive acts and conduct ourselves responsibly. And professionals shall not disclose without consent confidential information concerning the business affairs or technical processes of any present or former client or employer or public body on which we serve. I think you've heard me talk previously about that professionals do not talk about other professionals in an unresponsible way. And you'll never hear us talking about another professional in order to gain advancement in any sort of career position. So, my firm is a full service firm, as we call it. We assist you folks in long range and short range planning. We assist you in the preliminary components of a design. We issue the design components, and then we ultimately assist you in managing the construction operations, construction management, administration. We also do materials laboratory testing, quality assurance, and quality control inspection services. I've developed a firm that is an all comprised firm because that's what I grew up with. I started in the field as a laboratory and field technician before working my way into a survey crew, construction management crew, well before I ever touched the design table. And so I guess that one of the few things I'd like to, by the end of this, I hope you realize that a lot of our designs are developed in a way because we've built a lot of the projects in which we're designing. My father was a contractor, and so I've worked and built an immense amount of infrastructure that I'm proud of. And so when we put our designs together, we like to call them economically constructible, meaning it doesn't cost too much, it should cost what it costs, and it can be built by somebody. You know, everything looks good on paper, but if the plans aren't real, we're gonna get into significant cost changes, and that's what we call our change order exposure. Basically, one of our largest goals is reducing your change order exposure on every project. The more technical, the more money, the more cost exposure you have. And so I'm going to show you today how our design services and our data acquisition services try to reduce that change order exposure. And so far, we've had a fairly good track record here in Lander County. We worked with some great contractors too, and I'll tip my hat to them absolutely. But so far, we're operating on a zero change order exposure at this time. Again, we focus on long-range planning, design, and construction management. So this is the fun stuff. This is really something that I've dedicated the last 12 years of my life to, which is data acquisition. Like I talked to you before, I have a degree in land surveying and geomatics. And so part of creating a real design is how do I get that data? And sometimes the designs are so intricate that the days of tape measures and things like that are over. So I have many technologies, but I'm just going to highlight some of the fun ones today. So we're assisting Lander County in several projects, and sometimes it's hard to convey that how that project should be constructed. And so what we use here is what's called Lidar. This Lidar is basically, instead of single point survey, it is millions of points created from multiple positions that create ultimately a point cloud. So what you're looking at here on this display is not just a site, but it's really a three-dimensional site comprised of millions of survey points to within 2 millimeters of accuracy. So you can see this curb line here. It's got all the survey basically establishing this curb line. Now, obviously, this is a little bit much for a site like this in terms of survey. I can go catch it in typical means. This is just for example purposes, but the idea is is that once I have this survey, I'm essentially working myself out of a job. And the idea being is that instead of surveying these sites several times, we come in and survey the site one time, and then as the client needs additional design features, we come into our survey data, develop the design components as needed, and essentially just launch straight into the design, ultimately leveraging their previous investment of obtaining the survey. Again, what you're looking at here is a point cloud of millions of points. Let me know if I make anybody sick here. And so, like, okay, question is, why are the trees in here? Well, frankly, my equipment is capturing the trees at the time in which the laser passed the tree. So you're seeing them as they roughly are, and then why is it that color? Well, basically, at every scan location, it creates a 360-degree panoramic photograph, which is used in another technology called photogrammetry. And then what we do is we turn our laser points the color of the photograph, which is what gives it that realistic look. But in my world, it can be any color, because it's essentially just data. It's just millions of points. I can slice that data and manipulate it in any which way. So I can develop a small floor plan of that facility or dimension that component of that facility within minutes. So it's very nice at an engineer's fingertips to have more information, because again, we're creating more detailed plans down to, little, like 1/4-inch electrical lines. We will model everything that the equipment can see. And so again, the reason for that is we've been positioned into creating some complex designs, and sometimes the engineer just does not have enough information. And so what the Lidar allows us to do is to obtain that information in a way that is unparalleled and is exact. And when we're talking about development of pipe networks and things like that, or building retrofits, like I want to come in here and retrofit this facility, we'll laser scan it, and then we'll be able to tell, is there 13 light switches or is there 12? These things matter in the construction world because those are change orders for line items. And so basically, if my scanner can see it, we can model it. And that's really the neat thing that we've been able to do. So as an example, we're using it for Anna's tie-off system currently. So we've scanned the entire outside of this facility for a small little tie-off project. But what that does again is it leverages that data. So if you have another project here, we just pull up the scan data. It's already been surveyed. And again, we launch into the design components. So these surveys are really money in the bank for a long-term project portfolio. As an example, what you're looking at here is at the golf course, we had some pumping system modifications in one of our vaults, and we wanted to modify a few things. So we can actually scan that infrastructure and then again create a 3D model within 2 millimeters of accuracy of exactly what that infrastructure entails, which one helps us understand what's going on, and then two helps us convey to the contractor what it is we want to have done on the project. So in this case here, we went from survey data to hard modeled AutoCAD infrastructure data, which then allows us to manipulate them and create 3D plans and all sorts of different views of the plans to convey to the contractor exactly what it is we'd like done on the project. Okay, so that is laser scanning. We have a really cool program called our drone program. And what we do in there is we utilize that technology I talked about before called photogrammetry. And what we do is we can fly an entire neighborhood. So in this case here, we flew the entire West Community project. You'll bear with me here. And what we do is we can basically create a surface model from the drone data, which you could imagine if I was to survey your whole West Community, it could take me months. But we can come in with our drone and fly it in less than 4 hours. What that is able to do is not only develop a surface model that we can utilize for surveying purposes, but it also includes a high definition stitched aerial imagery that is millions of times better than Google Earth. You can literally read a sign in the back of somebody's bed of their truck, so it's that accurate. And again, it's hundreds of photographs that are stitched together to create one uniform photometric surface and photograph. We also lock that in with survey points, which is what you're seeing here, and I'll zoom in on one. basically the green would be my survey point as I've shot it in real time, and then the blue is actually where my software recognizes that point with the drone data. And then what it does is it links everything together. I'll get into a little bit more about this data management, but essentially what we're trying to create for you folks is a massive amount of survey and databases that we can use long-term for other projects. And so we're using current project investment to obtain this data for then you to leverage long-term, and it's not costing Lander County any more money than it would for any other engineering firm to come in here and do that. Again, what you're looking at here is that West Community project. You can see all the photographs suspended above the surface. That is each photograph that we've taken that is on a very consistent cycle in terms of frequency. Again, we then stitch those photographs together to create the surface model that you're seeing here. So it literally creates a cartoon, if you will, of all the houses and everything. Where things get a little crazy, and this isn't that high, you have to excuse, these are all screen clippings of the model. But you could see like the roof of the house is very good, it's very transparent in terms of it's developed properly, but then the drone can't see everything underneath because it's shooting above it. So there is some irregular triangulation, as we call it in the model. But what we're looking for is like roadway networks and things like that we use it for. And then again, the stitched aerial imagery underneath it is so important for our plans that I'll show you here shortly. Again, here is the drone data model. So this is actually my truck. That's our F-350 right there. Here's your park. You can see even like the swing set itself it is developing a 3D model of everything out there, which is super helpful for us in terms of design. Here's another example of that drone data where we've flown like your landfill. And so instead of just going and hard surveying and spending a guy weeks out there obtaining this data, we can go out there in a few hours, fly the whole landfill, and then do a volumetric model for you to submit to the state of your long-term 20-year long-range plan for the landfill, as an example. So again, we go out, we fly it with our drone, we're able to get that data efficiently, faster, and extremely accurate. So you can see this is a surface model of actually a mine site. And so you can see basically all the development of the model, and then I'll give you a more zoomed in view here. So this is one of those benches that the actual survey model creates. So again, that's a three-dimensional surface that we can then design to obtain volumetric models, etc. As an example of that drone data on everyday projects, we've been managing your Safe Routes to Schools project that we started 2 years ago. So that program is advanced. Again, here's the stitched aerial imagery, high definition, underlaid on our plans in exact coordinate systems, which then tie into our hard survey data. Everything is linked together. It helps the contractor visualize what we're doing and also be able to see everything on the plans, and it's super helpful. Again, here's an example of the Lidar data design component. Again, my firm is a full service firm that does civil engineering all the way down to the long range planning and construction component of contracts. Currently, the Lander County initiatives that we've been handling, I gave a list of them in your packet. I'll go through a few of them briefly. One of the big ones is really the roadway and right-of-way component. We want to further assist the Public Works Department in kind of further getting a handle around not only the current projects, but past projects. When were the projects, when were the roads completed, when were they micro-surfaced? What we talk about is preventative maintenance programs, which is basically managing your investment portfolio to protecting those investments on a long-term basis. One of the largest investments in Lander County absolutely is by far the road network. And so with the proper preventative maintenance program that they've started, we're trying to preserve that investment over 30, 40-year design lives. And so it's hard to know what project you did 7 years ago. So what we do is we develop it in AutoCAD so that we can then essentially XREF each project in. It's layered on a color that dictates that year. And so we're starting to put these programs together for you that are essentially telling us when the roads were done and when we should do them again or help preventative maintenance wise. Again, we're creating a survey-wide database for you. Basically, every project that we do is in an AD83 component, meaning like X and Y grid of the earth. Our stuff hits right where it should be every time. So when we survey another project for you, it's added to the database, it's leveraged long-term, and essentially what we're doing is we're using these short-term projects to create these long-term initiatives. There's some standard detail stuff that we need to continue to work with the county on. Basically, we originally started with the details being in all PDF form. We've now turned them into AutoCAD. We'd now like to take those and advance into updating them. Some of the parts and things identified in the standard details are no longer available. There's a list of initiatives here that I think that still need to continue that aren't necessarily being addressed. One of them being the code updates in Title 12, 15, 16, and 17. And ultimately, in this role, we're assisting in promoting growth and development as the commission, staff, and county constituents see fit. So we're not here to push any agendas. If there's projects that want to go a certain direction, we're here to do that, and we're here to promote that growth in a way that you folks see absolutely necessary. Lastly, I think that there's a lot of consulting components that are needed from the Lander County engineer. As an example, and I don't want to pick on the Nevada gold mine folks that were just here, but as a most immediate example, you know, is it net neutral? You know, I'm stealing water from an aquifer that's 2,000-3,000 feet in a well, and then I'm going to go kick it into an open rapid infiltration basin. Well, is that rapid infiltration basin drilled down to 3,000 feet? I doubt it, right? It's probably a 200-foot rapid infiltration basin, which has a massive surface area. So I would assume that we're going to have an evaporation component to that rapid infiltration basin. So really, is it net neutral when we're taking groundwater and discharging it through an RIB? I would probably think not. And so I think that there's a lot of things that I think my firm should be brought to the table on to assist you in making the best decisions for your county. With that said, I absolutely appreciate your time.
Aaron, I have a question.
Hit me.
Aaron, that was a brilliant presentation, by the way, and I applaud that. Could you tell the commissioners exactly what the duties are of the county engineer of record?
Sure. So the engineer of record through Title 12, I believe, there's some things in there that the county engineer is specifically required to do. One of them is the roadway and right-of-way management component. And I think that is one of the larger duties that I could explain off the cuff, that roadway management should be charted, identified, so that again, you're not micro slurring a project that got slurried 2 years ago, you're doing it on year 7. And so you're spreading those investments to other areas in a more of a logical format. Some other components again are like the database component. You know, right now Lander County has 0 survey database other than what we've created. And so it's hard to, even projects like this easement that just come through, you know, really that easement should have been brought into a Lander County survey database and then outlined on your own in-house information to say, you know what, there's actually this there or there's that there. And it's hard to make those decisions and you're just sitting back there without that information in front of you. You know, we don't know what's underground. Maybe Lander County put a water line through there and there was never an easement established. Those are the types of things that that county engineer should be doing.
Have these services currently being provided?
I think that the list that I've shown here, we've been providing on our own behalf, but in terms of anyone else, not that I'm aware of.
The current county engineer of record has not been providing those services?
Not that I know of, no.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to point out, we are working with Laura to have a database here in the county that all this information that he uploads, we will have stored on our own database here. In the event that anything we choose not to go with AM Engineering anymore, we will have it already backed up, stored in our own courthouse and our own database. So,
yeah, I was impressed with your presentation. And I've noticed, I see the guy sitting back there, never knew who he was, asked Bert, who's this guy back here? Never spoke up, and he said, well, that's Aaron Martinez with AM Engineering. I was like, but I see that you've taken notice and interest in our county. You seem to be very, very professional, and I like what I see, so.
Thank you.
Does that, when you're doing your surveying and stuff, are you picking up where all the underground utilities and everything's at? So, like, if we got it in our database and somebody's coming in to do some digging, or like the road and bridge or whatever, they can look that up and find out where the
That's a great
underground
question.
utilities are running?
Thank you, JR. That's a great question. Absolutely. So we'll survey everything that we see on the surface. So valve cans, sewer manhole lids, right? We hit all those. Our drone data can also see those, but we'll typically hard survey those lids. We'll then pull those lids. We'll shoot the top of nut, whether it be like a water valve, or if it's the invert of the sewer line or storm drain line. We'll shoot those inverts. We'll get the pipe size, and then we develop a little bit further into our model called a pipe network. That pipe network is a 3D component that we can see in a plan and profile view. So when we lay out our alignments, if you will, on our road, we're not just seeing the surface of the road, we're also seeing every utility underneath there. We've been cheating a little bit, and I won't lie, we have been calling in USA Digs and doing our geotechnical investigations. We then have everyone go out and paint everything, and we'll come and survey it up even more, because like gas lines, electrical lines, we never know where they are. There's no valve cans or anything typically. So like the gas and the electrical, we'll cheat and have them come, paint a mark, and then we'll come and resurvey that, and then that goes in our pipe network. So yeah, it is absolutely there and needed for someone to depth, size, you name it. If we've shot it, we got it.
That would be really handy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yes,
with the
sir.
issue that we have with the Maverick and the backup of the trucks and all of that stuff, so before that, we even issued that, we would have had information from you saying, if you allow this lane to go in here, these are the issues that are gonna happen. You're gonna have a backup that goes all the way over, because there's no way possible. We would have known that, correct?
Yes, Commissioner, and that's a great point that you bring up, because that is actually a whole nother facet to this, which is ultimately what we would call your community development department, which the county doesn't really have. I think it relies on what it does have, and those folks are taking on multiple roles in order to achieve what a typical municipal government would do. So the things that you're talking about there would be more in the plan review stage. And I know that your building department's doing a great job of trying to handle all that, but ultimately the county needs to maybe consider going a different route in a more formalized process of plan review, and from a county standpoint where they can look at those types of things that you just identified and make sure that it's in the best interest of what you want. It doesn't conflict with the civic center, and the only way to catch that is to be a part of that design development time frame, which is when they submit the plans and everyone kind of goes through them.
Well, because it just keeps ringing in my ears from DOT saying, you're the ones who let them
Approve
go
this.
in, so good luck with that. And that's exactly, because nobody understood, I don't think, what we were getting ourselves into by allowing that.
Absolutely.
And so on an engineering, we would have known all of that ahead of time.
Yeah, because things like traffic analysis would have
Yes.
been asked, and like, well, where's all this traffic gonna go? So you're
And
exactly
the
right.
kids, the biggest thing is the issue with the children crossing back and forth. They go back and forth, and we've had several near misses of children being ran, and adults, but being ran over.
Sure.
Because of that mess.
Absolutely, and it's a big problem, obviously, you know. And like I said, you know, that is a full-time job. Those types of project things, that can be a very time-consuming process. And so I think that the staff that's currently managing that is doing a great job, because again, wearing multiple hats to be able to do that job as well, I think is a tough ask. Because again, if my background is electrical, when I look at a set of plans, I'm gonna be making comments about electrical, right? But I may not miss the traffic component, for instance. And so you have to rely on multiple people to assist you in making those reviews. And we are absolutely willing to help you in that regard also.
And further to JR's question, we do have an AutoCAD that Laura has been putting together. Right before I moved to this position, where they go in and they do take pictures of the manholes, and you can lift the lid, any stop sign, any water valve, any fire hydrant, If you replace a stop sign, you can go into your computer and put a 36 by 36 stop sign. And the next guy that pulls it up can say, oh, on December 2nd, they replaced that stop sign with 36 by 36 at this intersection. So if somebody comes and takes that stop sign or something like that happens, you can go back in and this will incorporate into what Aaron's doing. And then we can make a true functional system that Donnie and anybody else, if somebody's replaced, that institutional knowledge isn't lost. It comes right with them. They just open up a computer and they have it.
That's right. Wow. Because to your point, how much has been lost to date, right? There's a lot of short-term initiatives that could have been leveraged long-term like we've been talking about. So that's a great point.
I do have a comment. First of all, your professional career is truly outstanding, and thank you for sharing that with us. I think it gives us a lot of information that we're kind of excited about to know. We're still going to be on the top level of everything, but I just want to say our relationship with you over the last few years has been not only professional, but we sincerely appreciate your openness and sharing all of your experience with us. Actually, my fellow commissioner hit upon it too with your interest and concern of attending our meetings. And that doesn't go unnoticed, believe me. So thank you, and thank you for stepping up to even consider being this for us. I think we're the winners on this one. I'm looking forward to our relationship with you as our new Lander County engineer. With that, I will make a motion that we actually approve AM Engineering as the Lander County Engineer of Record. And does anything need to be signed? You'll bring that, do we have a?
If there is,
contract?
if there is, I'll bring
Okay,
that.
so, that's it.
I'll second the motion.
All right, so Patsy made the motion, Brian second, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Aaron.
Very good,
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Thank you very much.
Yes, we take a 10-minute break. And then with that, Aaron, we get to look at fixing Austin. We're almost done.
Dream on.
We're gonna have a litigation meeting.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, moving forward. Okay, you tell me.
This conference will now be recorded. Unmuted.
All right. On to number 11, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the transfer of funds from the general fund to Austin Water and Austin Sewer funds. The amounts will be $500,000 to Austin and $500,000 to Austin Sewer. These funds balances are nearly exhausted and need to be increased to pay for operations to help with infrastructure costs. Okay. You're on.
Blake and Sullivan for the record. So we're doing this basically because I included the fund balance report for you guys in your backup, but as you can see, Austin Water has a negative fund balance, and we can't operate on a negative fund balance. So we are doing this to try to bulk up their fund balances so that they have money to operate, and then hopefully with a couple years they'll kind of start to sustain themselves. But we started with so little that I think we needed to spend more than what we had at the beginning. So this is just to kind of give them a little push.
Yes. Yes.
We didn't really know what to anticipate, honestly. We were kind of just going to see. And right now we're splitting everything 80-20. So 80% for water and 20 for sewer. And from the numbers from last year, I think we need to change that a little bit, but that's something I can work with Donnie on, and we can look at those for next year.
And I can remember you talking that it was gonna be this way.
Yeah.
I can remember that discussion, so it's not a surprise.
Yeah, we only got about $176,000 from the district before they dissolved. That's what they had in their bank account. So it really wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
And we have to, I'll be coming back before you guys as well for the projects because we budgeted all their projects in the CCP fund, but our auditors are saying that we need to actually pay for those out of the water and sewer fund. So we're gonna have to do an augment on that.
I'm sorry, explain that one more time. Where are we gonna take the money from?
from the general fund. It has the biggest fund balance, and that's the one that you guys have been trying to get kind of lowered anyways, so I thought that was the best place to take it from.
But you want the whole $1 million?
Mm-hmm. Unless you guys want something different, we can do less if you wanna do less. But with the projects that we have budgeted, I just thought that that would be enough to cover operating expenses and infrastructure costs that we have budgeted for this year.
You wonder how it was operating before. I mean, I know we truly, we're not compliant, and that was a surprise, and a lot of things and a lot of extra costs. But I'm going, wow, I mean, had we not stepped in and done this, what would have happened
Well, that's why they needed all that money to fix it.
Yes.
to the
Well,
water department? But I'm going, okay, we did that, we gave them the extra money, we're all on there, but I'm going, $1 million? So we don't even have, we don't even have an actual person in administration with an office open down there.
I believe that they were using the money we gave them every year for operational purposes.
Yeah, that, I mean, they haven't, and Bert and Donnie can speak more on it, but last year we spent more than we brought in as far as the water side goes, because we needed so many supplies and so many different things. They didn't have anything.
Well, I knew that, but I guess and I have to trust, your expertise in finance, but I'm going, $1 million we are going to spend over and above what we're taking in just for the
We're not
next.
saying we're going to spend it all,
We're
we're
just
just putting it
putting
there
it in.
because.
We're just putting it in their fund balance to increase their fund balance so that, cause right now, with them being in the hole, they can't even accrue interest. Juicy can't give them interest on a negative fund balance, so we're not helping them by not, we have to try to do something to increase those fund
But
balances.
we have the funds to move over without any problem, so we're just gonna put it there instead,
Yes.
basically.
Yes,
Okay.
it will account for it. But is what I wanna make sure everybody understands is when we took over Austin Water and Sewer, even in their parts shed, you didn't have parts to fix to repair anything that was to break, so we had to everything got upgraded. And that, we anticipated a loss, we didn't anticipate a loss of this size. And then like Lakin had referred to, we're hoping that some of the funds that start coming in from the billing will start to balance some of that, and we don't have to come back to this and revisit it again.
It was just the amount, I guess, that I thought, wow. So I figured you had projected how much for the next 7 months and said this much. But that's not really what you're doing.
No.
You're saying, we're moving this amount.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense, and I can breathe a little bit easier, I
And
guess.
once we have
Okay.
more data, once we kinda get through
Okay.
a few more years,
Got it.
and if it's not sustaining itself, will have to look at other options then, but.
At least we're not draining it. Okay, thank you.
All right, so,
I'll make a motion that we approve a transfer of funds from the general fund to the Austin Water and Sewer, funds. The amount will be $500,000 to Austin Water, $500,000 to Austin Sewer.
do you have a second?
I'll second the motion.
So Brian, made the motion, do you have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, they had both at the same time, so, which, I just, on my right side, I picked JR, cause they both said it at the same time, so I put it as JR second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Number 12, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the resolution 2021-16 for the classification of fund balance as directed by Gatsby 54, including the 5-year capital improvement plan, and to authorize the chair to sign. All right.
Lake and Sullivan, for the record again, this is something that you guys asked to have done annually. We should have done it in September, but with the auditors here, we kind of pushed it out a little bit, but it's to commit those funds in the general fund to show that, just to reflect that in our financials.
Okay.
Well, Commissioner Sparks took the last one, so I guess I can take this one.
Thank you, Becky.
I move that we adopt resolution number 2021-16, of the Board of Lander County Commissioners, a resolution for the classification of fund balances as directed by GASB 54. Whereas the Lander County Board of Commissioners wishes to adhere to the reporting requirements as set forth by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, the GASB, Statement 54, fund reporting and governmental fund type definitions, and whereas the Lander County Board of Commissioners will categorize according to the following components: non-spendable, including but not limited to inventory and prepaid; restricted, external restrictions; committed, imposed by resolution; assigned, general intent for specific use; and unassigned, residual. And whereas the Lander County Board of Commissioners is committed to maintain a prudent level of financial resources to protect temporary revenue shortfalls or unexpected expenditures, and whereas the Lander County Board of Commissioners is also committed to using portions of the strong fund balance in the general fund on capital projects for the benefit of the citizens of Lander County, and whereas Lander County Board of Commissioners delegates authorization to the county manager and/or his designee to identify intended uses of assigned funds, and now, therefore, be it resolved that all general fund amounts reported in the 5-year capital improvement plan adopted on August 25th, 2021 for fiscal years 2022 through 2026 be designated as committed funds. Be it further resolved, this policy should be revisited at the time of budget adoption each year for review. Be it further resolved that the 5-year capital improvement plan pursuant to NRS 354.5945 and adopted on August 25th, 2021 be part of this resolution. Passed and adopted this 18th day of November 2021 and authorize the chair to sign.
Okay, so Patsy made the motion, Brian second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, number 13, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove, authorizing Marquest or Brock, cost, whoop. What,
Before hearing
before this? Yes. So we're gonna go ahead and go into a litigation meeting?
Muted. This conference is now being unmuted.
All right. Number 14, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove, authorizing Marquise Obroch, a Coughing law firm, to oppose the redistricting plan and thus the splitting of Lander County by means of special session.
I make a motion that we authorize Marquis Arbach Coughing Law Firm to oppose the redistricting plan of splitting up Lander County by means of special session.
All right, a second?
I'll second.
So Patsy made the motion, Brian second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So for any correspondence? So I had a couple questions. I had, with all the funds that had been released by our president, one of the questions I was wondering about was the railroad stop, if any of those funds would be available to be used to put in, north and southbound stops.
So I posed that question to the Porter Group, and they're putting that in as well as others. I asked for the Austin Youth Center, and my hand is gone. The flood levy. I asked for a few different projects that we're doing if they could fund, that would be kind of community oriented, and we'll see where that goes.
Okay, and then on the Lansville, I heard there was some confusion on the Lansville, so did we get the Lansville, did we not get the Lansville that we had in? Did it go all the way through?
No, that was the one that I reported on in my update, and that it's not all the way through.
Okay.
It is waiting with 1 second. I will tell you, it is waiting for the title transfer. But SHPO and Department of Reclamation, they have approved it. So now it's just waiting on final signatures in the House. We should be
Oh, okay.
back in
All right,
business.
I was confused on that. All right, very good.
But it went through as we had it.
Yes, as we had put it forward to them. They didn't make any further changes.
So for, also, my last thing is for, maybe for future agenda items or something, figure out how to do something about the damage to the bike racks that are being done that are with the,
I believe Donnie had taken and Road and Bridge had went and put big rocks by them to try to kind of at least stop the vehicle type of damage. The kids,
the ones over here, if on Girls Ranch Road and the ones by the Hideaway, they're literally pushing the bike racks out of the dirt, pushing them, trying to push them over. And so,
They wasn't mounted in the ground correctly,
oh, okay.
and so my guys are redoing them.
Oh,
But
okay.
We can't get concrete right now, so we're with a fighting game right now
All
on
right.
concrete, so.
Very good.
They're working on it.
All right, thank
So,
you.
Yep.
That's all I wanted.
Try to make something nice, man.
I know, right?
yeah. I will be coming back with the Austin realignment. It's a bigger project when you go knock on engineers' doors. A lot of them just laugh and go, okay. Yeah, go knock on the next guy's door because this is a very big project. I think the only guy that's really looked at this and taken it kind of seriously is AM Engineering. But yeah, who's that guy? But the rest of the people that I've knocked on their door, they just have. And I will keep I will keep the correspondence just for our record, but really hard to find interest in that.
We knew it. We knew it when we did it, and we decided to cut the losses and move on.
Yep.
Okay.
What else is there? That's it.
Yeah, so do we have any further public comment?
Do you guys have any agenda items you guys would like on the next one? Nothing particular?
Oh,
We-
I do. How can we, I don't even know how you do this, how could we maybe, because we have such a crowd from the public of doing at least one meeting in the evening, is there a way if we can do one that has, I don't know, if we can figure out how to do one of our meetings at regular time and then one of our meetings in the evening so the public can attend, is that something that can be done or not?
That, the problem with something like that is if you do it constantly, you've got overtime for our people, which was the biggest thing.
Well, you have presentations, and that's what I've tried to explain to the multitude of people who called me. I said, we'll be there till midnight. And so
And-
I've tried to,
And it'll be like today where they didn't really have a whole lot of interest, but then the ones that we do the interest, we never know what they're gonna be. We hit the agenda and now we've got 30 people in the audience and maybe we should have had an evening, but you don't know those things in
I
advance.
thought we had said any, like, hot issues, we just have town hall meetings.
Well, you can do that. I'm not familiar with one other county that has evening meetings.
okay. I just thought I would ask.
They don't.
Well, and to me, it makes sense that we do it the way we do it, just because, like that one day, because the presentations, holy smokes, we're here.
During
Yes.
the daytime.
Yes.
That's when it's conducted.
Yes, and you're not gonna have people doing their presentations here at night.
And I understand what they're saying, and it's like we try and do Austin. So, once a year we do Austin. Lo and behold, what do we have? One person who was on the agenda and nobody else came. It's like, so here we are, and of course I hate to drive at night, but I would do that naturally. But you're still taking higher risks for things, and the animals you can't see and things like
You know
that.
what? If we had a petition from a lot of different people asking for one, it'd be something. We've had one person who's making a lot of noise.
Well, I've had a few more than that,
Well,
not a handful, but a few more, but not a handful, I've had a few more just ask about it, and they weren't,
Well,
they just asked why, they weren't.
everyone that I've talked to, it can all go back to one person. So, you can't conduct the people's business based on a handful of people.
No, I'm not arguing, I was just wondering.
So, not to be argumentative, I'm not trying to.
Um,
But if there was a petition or something, and we saw that hundreds of people we're interested, that's another thing.
That's a good point.
So I would like kind of some general dates that might work for you guys if we do have to have a special meeting. I do believe there's a strong possibility we will, due to the resignation of our clerk. So what dates work best for this commission?
I'm sorry, our resignation of what?
A resignation?
Res-
Oh, the resignation?
Yes.
Can we just make it part of our December 16th meeting?
That's not
I don't
enough.
believe we'll have enough time,
Okay.
because we're gonna have, we want to publish, we want to, probably have 2 weeks, and people can make applications to you guys, and then the next meeting, you guys will have a meeting, and a special meeting probably, because you will conduct the interviews in open session
Oh.
and make a decision.
So picking up Thursdays, the 2nd or the 9th of December, is that what you're looking at?
We're gonna have to have 2 meetings, right?
We're
We're gonna have to have the
2
meeting
meetings.
to accept the resignation, a meeting to declare a vacancy, and to
We-
publish.
No, that's backwards. But yes, first we have a meeting to declare a vacancy as of a certain date, and to make a procedure, establish a procedure.
And then you have to have a meeting so that we can do the interviews.
So that one we will have on the 16th, but the special meeting, the one that I'm referring to, we will have this declaring on the 16th, but then the advertisement, so the 2nd or the 9th, I think, is that the dates that?
They're both Thursdays, is that?
Yes.
So the 9th would be better. I might not, I don't know about the second.
Okay,
For myself.
The 9th is fine.
the 9th seems to be
For
the
the
date.
first meeting?
No, the 16th is when
And
we'll
that's
do that.
December, about right?
Yeah, December.
Yeah, the 9th is fine.
That give us enough time, Dave?
You can't do that.
I do apologize, the 9th won't work because we gotta declare that vacancy on the 30th or whatever the date is that the resignation was put in. Yes, so, we have to advertise for 2 weeks, so it will have to be somewhere after the 2 weeks of advertising to properly advertise it.
Why can't we do the 30th?
Can,
It's a Tuesday. Just have a special meeting, then we can get it into the
So
paper
the 9th
by
is too late or too early?
too late.
Too late.
Well, it doesn't have to be on a
But
Thursday.
it doesn't have to be on a Thursday.
So could we do it like the 1st?
That's fine.
we can do it any day that fits your guys' schedule.
First is fine.
The 1st?
What's my deadline? What's the deadline for the paper? Is it noon on December? Or noon on
First
Wednesday?
of December,
So if they do
that's on a Wednesday?
they do it this way, then you can get it in the paper for next week.
Right, cause
By
the
that
noon
date.
deadline.
You'll be in court on Wednesday?
How about the,
If we did it the 6th,
The 6th, Monday?
it's a Monday. That work?
that work?
Yeah, Wednesdays, I'm in court all December.
Okay, so December 6th?
December 6th?
Bert, he's still looking.
There's,
Is that, how, would the 30th work?
Of November?
it's fine with me.
The 30th is a Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's fine.
About the 2nd or the 3rd?
The 2nd we can't, cause you,
Yeah, we have to get it out in the paper.
To get it in
Okay, I
to the
understand.
paper for the 8th
The
or
light
the
bulb just
15th,
went off.
you have to have it to them by the 2nd by noon.
so if we have it on the 30th, will that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Sorry for the confusion, but.
Yes.
No, you're all right, we're just hammering it out, it's no big deal.
So we will have a special meeting
We have to be in district court on
Can you have it
Tuesday?
at 10 instead of 9?
We can have it, it's gonna be a short meeting, so we can move it to 11 if you guys like.
district court on the 30th, it's the 5th Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
I'm just guessing in case it snows.
Yes, no, we can move it as late in the day as you guys like, it should be short. Afternoon if you want. Yeah, we could even do it at 2 in the afternoon, whenever works.
Whatever is easiest for you for travel for bad weather.
How about 2 o'clock? You call the time, miss.
2 o'clock on the 30th?
Yeah?
Is that okay with everybody?
So 11,
Let's go with 1 o'clock on the 30th. Is that better?
you won?
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
1
1
o'clock?
o'clock on the 30th.
Are you available, Ted?
These are, I don't know the
procedurally, we should have you guys everything you need, and if Ted can't be president, the decision that the commission makes either way. So,
1 o'clock works.
1 o'clock on the 30th.
30th.
1 o'clock on the 30th is when we will schedule a special meeting to,
So without any other, so do we have a motion, are we ready for?
Public comment?
I did ask, I already asked public comment, then we rolled into everything else, so I'll ask for it again, public comment. All right, without any, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
That's second, all right, so Brian made the motion, JR second, all in favor? Aye, all right, thank you, everyone. Thanks.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Bert, do you have like 5 minutes when you're all done doing this? Sorry, Brian.